It was narrated from Anas that the Prophet, blessings and peace of Allah be upon him, said, "There will be brought forth from the fire everyone who says the Shahada, none has the right to be worshipped except Allah, in whose heart there is goodness the weight of a grain of barley. And there will be brought forth from the fire everyone who says the Shahada, none has the right to be worshipped except Allah, in whose heart there is goodness the weight of a grain of wheat. And there will be brought forth from the fire everyone who says the Shahada, none has the right to be worshipped except Allah, in whose heart there is goodness the weight of an atom." He, the narrator, said, Abin said, Qatada told us, Anas told us from the Prophet, blessings and peace of Allah be upon him, of faith instead of goodness. Commentary: Allah's mercy towards his slaves is immense and without limit, and it cannot be fully described. On the day of resurrection, Allah will show great generosity to many of his slaves, and he will bring forth from the fire anyone in whose heart is the smallest amount of goodness and faith. In this hadith, the Prophet, blessings and peace of Allah be upon him, tells us that no one will remain forever in hell who has in his heart an atom's weight of faith. If the Muslim whose sin dies without having repented from his sin, it is up to Allah. If he wills, he will pardon him for it, and if he wills, he will punish him, but he will not remain forever in the fire under any circumstances. Allah will bring forth from the fire anyone who said La the Shahada and has in his heart as much as a grain of barley, or a grain of wheat, or even an atom's weight of goodness, which means faith, as is explained in other reports. That is because goodness, in reality, is that which brings a person closer to Allah, may he be exalted, and that can be nothing other than faith. The word dara, translated here as atom, may refer to a small ant or a speck of dust that may be seen floating in rays of sunlight, like the heads of needles. Barley is mentioned before wheat because its grains are bigger in size, although they are very similar to one another, and the dara is mentioned last because it is so small. This is by way of explaining the issue by using the analogy of increasingly smaller likenesses. This hadith indicates that merely saying the Shahada, without there being any faith in the heart, will not benefit a person or bring him forth from the fire. It also clearly indicates how people may have different levels of faith, and that some of those believers who commit major sins may enter the fire, but they will not abide therein forever.